whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Which car are we going to take?
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on this Monday on the Nikki Medoro Show. And do not worry, I am going to be discussing later on the whole Taylor Swift, Kelce dating thing. I doubt, Kim McAllister, you watched football this weekend at all.
No, but that whole, is it Kelce or Kelce? Whatever
Kelce,
his name is,
Kelce,
they're
yeah.
everywhere with her in the
Kelce.
box next to his mom.
Yeah, she was going off.
Oh,
I mean, she was
God.
screaming, "Let's effing go." She was into it. And so many people are into this. We will be laughing about that a little bit on this show. It's too funny. He shot his shot, Kim, and you got to respect a guy that's like, you know what? I made her a friendship bracelet. I put my phone number on it. I wasn't able to give it to her. He's like, I saw her perform at Arrowhead. I'd love for her to see me perform at Arrowhead. And she did. But then I'm like, is there just a little too much pressure on something like this? It has to be hard to do celebrity dating. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, and now their whole whatever relationship they may or may not have had is it's public. It's under the microscope from the very get-go.
Everything's going to be under the microscope when it comes to celebrities, especially a celebrity as big as Taylor Swift. I mean, she is at her peak right now. So good luck. And Kelce's, he's a good looking man. He's a tall drink of water too. So good luck. We are going to be touching a bit on Governor Newsom. He has that veto pen out, and some people are saying, some of the bills he's vetoing, it's a mistake. And I have to get into this. I saw this story over the weekend. Now, I know it's just a mayor. But last week, remember, we were talking about politics being local and things like that. Dallas's Democratic, and I'm putting it in quotes, mayor, who was just elected in May? Right, May. He's switching parties. Switching parties to Republicans. Now, to a Republican. Now, I'll read you some of his excuses and things like that, but it's totally allowed. It's happened many times. Local all the way up to, the federal government, of people switching parties while they're in office. But my question is, should they be allowed to? I mean, as a voter, would you ever, and when I talk about it, I'm going to pose it in this way. If you voted for somebody as let's say a Democrat, and then they switched parties while they were in office, is there any way, shape, or form you'd vote for them again? And, are they lying? Do you think that somebody that switches parties while they are still in office, if you want to run again and you're like, I'm running now as a Democrat or a Republican, okay. But in office, you campaigned under a platform, right? And then all of a sudden, you're not that anymore. Is that lying to voters? Now, I'm not saying it's illegal, that it obviously it can be done. But I'm just saying, should we still allow it? Or should they, obviously, are they disqualified for running for office? Because I just feel like it's an ultimate betrayal. Lahaina residents, they're going to start going back to the burn area. But economists are saying that locals in Lahaina could be, and I'm like, I don't know who doubted this. I thought I said this pretty much the day of, could be priced out of the rebuilt town. The new Lahaina may not include any of the old residents. And there are some ideas on how to protect people and make sure that Lahaina, it doesn't just become, and this would be just devastating, if Lahaina just becomes this cookie cutter, out of the area, investor created place when there used to be so much history there. And I know that things have burned down, but history is carried on by people. So you need to have the people. Yes, the things, the artifacts, the buildings, they all mean something. The banyan tree, all of that, right? But it's the people that carry on the stories. And if you lose the people, do we lose Lahaina twice? And so we'll discuss that a little bit. Again, we'll talk about football a little bit. Usher has been announced as the Super Bowl halftime performance.
Are you excited about that, or like?
I think it's going to be a great show. You know what? I was listening to the radio this morning. They were playing a bunch of Usher songs, and I was like, yeah, hit after hit after hit. I'm like, oh yeah, I do like Usher. He's not somebody that I seek out, but then when the songs come on, I'm shaking my ass. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be pretty good. It has to be hard to come up with someone that's going to bridge the generations that watch the Super Bowl, right? You don't want to make it too young because you'll alienate the old people that are like, who the hell is this person? You don't want it to be too old, too classic, as they say, because then young people are gonna be like, oh God, we're not watching. So you have to have that sweet spot. And I think Usher can do that. I mean, obviously, he has some dirty, sexy songs. I doubt he's going to be playing any of those. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I think he'll do pretty good. Yeah. Let's see. Barry Joe says halftime shows suck. I don't think that I always watch them. I mean, I purposely tell everyone to shut the hell up in my house because I want to watch it, even if I'm not even into the artist or whatever. I like to see the performance. I like to see the show and things like that. Is everybody waiting for another nipple shot? No, I doubt that'll ever happen again. But yeah, the work, it's 12 minutes, a 12-minute show. And you got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. And I think it'll be pretty good.
I used to really like it, but over the last couple of years, it's like, how much more gyrating and flapping of the butt do I need to see in sequence? I don't.
Well, I thought that the Rihanna show last year was pretty good.
It was all right.
I loved the rap one. What we had, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, really Mary J. Blige, Eminem. I thought that was good.
A history of rap.
And I loved the stage. It was all set up with like the neighborhoods and everything. I thought that was pretty good.
I like the way they used to do kind of field formations they call them dancers, but they're more kind of really marchers, and they would do these formations, and that's kind of cool. But the old shows, like the classic shows like Prince.
Yeah, but I mean, Prince is gone.
Those are but Madonna, Pink did a great show.
She did.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nah. I think it matters what kind of music you're also into, right? I don't know if we could although, did Shania Twain do a Super Bowl? Why do I feel like Shania Twain did a Super Bowl? I was like, can we have a full 100%? Yeah, Shania Twain did a halftime performance in 2003. I don't know if you'd call her fully country, but I would say at least partly, right? Could we have a completely 100% country show? Some people were saying Garth Brooks. Some people wanted Garth Brooks to be the halftime performance. Some people wanted Taylor Swift, and I was like, that's never going to happen. They don't get paid. Why? They don't get paid to do the halftime show.
Totally do it. Yeah.
Who? No. Yeah, after everything, no. Because one, I think at that point she will be on tour again, and two, again, they don't get paid. She's on this massive tour. Apparently, she doesn't even. I know this because of the whole Kelce thing. She doesn't even talk to people before the show because she's trying to save her voice. Like, she won't do meet and greets or anything. She doesn't talk to anybody because it's 44 songs that she sings. And that's a lot of singing. You know what I mean? So, Michael Jackson started the pop halftime show. Damn him. Apparently, you don't like that. Okay. Next is bring back Metallica. That'd be cool. I don't know. Need more halftime nudity? No, we do not need any more moms clutching their friggin' pearls. So that's not going to happen. All right. What else is coming up on the show? We are going to be speaking with Sam Reese. Now, she is a comedy writer. She's an actor. She's also written a book, and she's part of this. She started this thing online that's taken off, and it's called The Shitty Craft Club. It's the name of the book. I don't mean to cuss, but that's the name of the book. It's a really cute book. I just got it. And so she's going to come on and she's going to talk about why she created the club, what came from it. And of course, because she's a comedy writer and an actor, I want her to weigh in, of course, on the writer's strike. And apparently a tentative deal has been reached. Of course, the actors have not agreed to anything, and this is tentative. It has to be approved, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, how difficult it is. And what people maybe don't even understand about being a comedy writer. It has to be tough when somebody else delivers the lines, delivers your work. and then you're forgotten about, right? Like, it's like, oh, what are we paying those people for? Jon Stewart's the funny one. It's like, wait a minute. I helped make Jon Stewart funny, right? So those sorts of things. So we'll be discussing that in the second part of our show with Sam Reese. And let's see, what else are we talking about? Oh, and then if we have time, after I talk to Sam Reese, do you remember Victoria's Secret Karen? Do you guys remember her? Do you remember the story? A black woman was in a Victoria's Secret and a white woman started having like a conniption fit in the middle of the store.
For what reason?
Okay, so the background of the story was this. It was during COVID. Well, everything's during COVID still. But here's the setup of the story. The black woman was shopping for underwear. She had a coupon or whatever. And this white woman was like standing a little too close to her for COVID. And so she asked her to back up like 6 feet or whatever, which is what we were told.
Reasonable, right.
Reasonable. And apparently the white woman started freaking out on her and then like throwing herself on the ground and crying
Lord.
and carrying on. Right. So everyone saw this. This was like a year or two ago. Well, apparently some new details have come out about the white woman. And now people are saying, oh my God, look at this black woman capitalizing on it. But at the same time, when we all saw the video, we all made the same judgment. And now everyone's like, oh, we shouldn't judge people, simply from a video. Really? That's literally what we do every second of the day. And I don't mean to be kind of a negative Nancy about this whole thing, but we make snap judgments constantly. And when it leads to something like this, where this woman's life has been impacted because she's gone viral and things like that, who's at fault? The woman that's freaking out and being unreasonable in public, the black woman recording her and posting it online and making money, or us, the people that make the things go viral and talk about it. So if we have time after Sam Reese, I want to get into that. But let's get some business out of the way, you guys. Please click that thumbs up button to show your support of the show. It's the quickest and the easiest way, of course, to help us out. YouTube expands our reach on this platform for every thumbs up that we get. The super chat is also live, and look who came in with our first donation, Pamela, with a $10 super sticker. Thank you, Pamela, so very much. So if you want to be like Pamela, of course, just look for the $sign under the chat box, and you could throw us $1, $100, whatever you choose. And if you include a comment, we'll read it live on the show. And another way of financially supporting us. But the number one way, say it with me, people, is to become an official Medorable. And that is by becoming a monthly Patreon subscriber. So the way to do that, theNikkiMedoroShow.com. Click the Patreon link, and then you could sign up for a one-time a month monthly payment. And it's whatever you want. We don't set any sort of tiers at this point. We just want, people that love the show and want to keep it on air to donate whatever they can afford. And if you could bump it up, we appreciate that as well. And I thank each and every one of my Medorables every single day. And then the other thing that we have going on that helps support the show is our raffle. And so we're doing it right now. Our 1-year anniversary is coming up in less than a month. So there's only a couple weeks left. You can buy your raffle tickets for $20 each. And you can do it through PayPal. So just go to PayPal, hit send. And then the email is the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com. And you can buy as many tickets as you want. They're $20 a piece. You have to put that it's for the raffle, and you have to put your email so I can reach back out to you. So please remember those two things. Make sure you put it's for the raffle, and make sure that your email address is there. If you've already paid and you didn't put your email, I'll message you through PayPal, but you should be getting a confirmation. At least a day, if not, I don't think it's been 2 days, but within a day of purchasing your tickets, you should receive a confirmation. If you have not received a confirmation from me, please email me at the same email address, the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com, so that I have you down, because I have meticulous names and notes to make sure that everybody, especially those that buy multiple tickets, that their name is thrown into the raffle all of those times. And again, if you live within 50 miles or so of San Jose, included in this box of my favorite things, hundreds of dollars worth of my favorite things, is personal delivery by me. So I will drop it off to you. I want to see the smile on your face. We can take a picture, and I'm really excited to give this box to the winner. So again, we're selling the tickets through PayPal, the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com. That is the email address. And thank you to everybody who has been buying up those tickets. So get them now. All right, let's do some headlines. And then we are going to talk not only about Governor Newsom's vetoes, but I do want to get into this Dallas mayor who switched parties like right after being reelected. In a very, like the blue dot in Texas, Dallas, he decided to switch parties. So 1, do you think that's fair? 2, do you think that it's lying? And 3, like, what should we do about something like that? Like, should somebody in politics be able to do that? And can they not do their job without switching their political party? It seems a little opportunistic, as they say, but we'll dissect that together. All right, let's do some headlines. We'll talk about all that next.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And good morning to you. This is an update from Nikki Medoro Show. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez says he believes he'll be exonerated after he was indicted on federal bribery and corruption charges. The Democrat responded to the indictment today, saying many have rushed to judgment based on a limited set of facts. He added that he deserves the presumption of innocence, and he believes he will ultimately remain New Jersey's senior senator. Federal prosecutors allege Menendez accepted hundreds of $1,000s in bribes to use his influence to protect 3 businessmen and benefit the Egyptian government. Authorities said a search of the Democrat's home turned up gold bars and nearly $500,000 in hidden cash. He has resisted calls to resign from Congress. Matter of fact, today he's expected to announce he's running again.
The audacity of some people. And I will say this, AOC and some Democratic lawmakers have come out saying you should step down. That's, now should people be tried and convicted before they're forced to step down? That's a good argument. He hasn't been convicted of anything. I don't know. I just, it's nice to see at least that people just don't toe the political line simply because someone accused of something is part of their political party.
And this is how it's done. I mean, Republicans need to look over the aisle and say, look, Democrats are not being nasty about this as far as trying to circle the wagons and protect someone who, innocent till proven guilty. They found gold bars at your house. Come on.
The gold bars did you in, my friend. Yeah, but at the same time, he does have, he should have his day in court, right? And I'm not saying that he shouldn't. We shouldn't jump the gun. I think that that's kind of the problem that we often have. My whole thing is we also shouldn't protect the guy. Like, you need to stand there. There's obviously some smoke, if not a lot of fire here. So you need to own up to what you did wrong. The problem, in my opinion, with Republicans is they can do no wrong, right? Whatever it is, it's a witch hunt. It's fake news. Really? Every single one. And that just makes them look disingenuous and makes them feel like they're just going to defend even the nastiest, most law-breaking people because it's another Republican vote.
The audacity, though, to run again during all of this
is it's
like
right?
taking a page from the Trump book and not really owning up to your, shortcomings here. Allegedly.
Let's throw that in there.
President Biden is hosting leaders from the Pacific Island nations at the White House today. The summit, seen as an effort to counter China's rising influence in this region. The Biden administration formally establishing diplomatic relations with the Cook Islands and Niue for the very first time. Niue, Niue. Yeah. Former President Trump is promising to investigate the parent company of NBC and MSNBC if he is elected president in 2024. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said Comcast will be thoroughly scrutinized for what he called dishonest and corrupt news coverage.
Right.
The post comes after Trump recently sat down for an interview with NBC's Meet the Press. Hey, man, that stuff came out of your face. Nobody else to blame but yourself.
Exactly. I will say this, though, a Trump presidency is frightening. Lori, I did receive your email. Lori's comment earlier, fact stranger than fiction. Can't believe they put it into writing. Project 2025, since Trump's back in the news so much, avoiding political shows. So she hasn't read the 900 plus pages. I didn't either. But Velshi, the clip that you sent me, Lori, frightening. Now, if you haven't heard of Project 2025, according to Ali Velshi, it kind of builds on something, I guess, that happened back in the Reagan era, where they have this whole idea of reforming the United States, the government and everything like that. Except now it's not Reagan era. It's this frightening Trump era. And the things that they want to do, defunding the FBI, so many different things, the rights they want to take away from women and the LGBTQ community. The thing that frightens me so much is I do believe we need a two-party system, if not more parties, but two-party system is what we're in, really, truly. And how do we ever have or go back to a political world in the United States where we can have disagreements, but it doesn't have to spiral down into conspiracy and hate and bigotry? These people are out of their freaking minds. Look it up. And Lori, again, thank you. You didn't ruin my weekend, Lori, but you did put the nightmare in my head. Project 2025. Look it up. It is frightening. It is something that, do they think they're going to get everything on this list? Of course not. But this is where their mind is. This is what they want for the country. It's frightening. It really, really is.
Let's talk about Kaiser Permanente. Thousands of healthcare workers say they are prepared to strike if they can't reach an agreement with Kaiser. Staffing shortages and a boost in pay, the main issues that need to be settled here over the weekend. 98% of union members, according to ABC, voted in favor of a strike. That was on Saturday.
As a daughter of a former Kaiser worker, they need more pay. They need more staffing. They work long hours. People's lives are at risk. All of that is true. They're always striking. I make this, it's quote unquote joke with my mom all the time. I'm like, when are you guys not striking? But they are the CNA especially, very strong union. And the truth of the matter is, they're right. They're right when they strike, because people's lives are in their hands. And if you have overworked, understaffed areas, who loses? We lose.
My sister also works for Kaiser and has been on strike several times since she joined the organization.
Oh, yeah.
She's a therapist, and they seriously don't have enough therapists at Kaiser. And so they try to pile on all the work, but it's dangerous for patients. So in their case, were they looking for more money and, less work because it's egregious? Yes, but they're actually doing it for patients. That's according to her. So I don't know. Okay, let's talk about Cruise and Waymo, among other autonomous vehicle companies, celebrating this big win in California. Governor Gavin Newsom vetoing a bill that would have required a human being behind the wheel of a big rig AV for at least 5 years. While they get the technology straightened out, no, he says, doesn't want to require a human behind. He said the current laws are enough for safety. Cruise has said it's ready to start road testing driverless trucks. Do we feel comfortable with these autonomous big rigs on the road?
No, I don't. You know what the thing is like, who asked us, the voter, that we wanted this technology on the road? If I'm against it, why do I have to share the road with something I deem unsafe? I mean, I felt like there was this just agreement when I got my driver's license that I would be on the road with fellow drivers, not fellow robots. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well, write a letter to the governor then. Gavin,
I'm going to write my governor.
What the hell are you doing? This company called Anthropic has a friend in Amazon. The two companies agreed to a deal that would have Amazon invest up to $4 billion in this artificial intelligence startup. Earlier this month, Anthropic launched its premium-based AI chatbot. It's called Claude 2.
Okay.
It could be Siri and Claude that we're talking to.
Okay.
Have you been following this story? I'm kind of fascinated and just entranced by it. The first asteroid sample collected in space by NASA is now back on Earth. NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft released a capsule containing soil from the asteroid Bennu, which then safely parachuted into the Utah desert Sunday west of Salt Lake City. This robotic spacecraft was launched in 2016. It landed on the asteroid in 2020, collected a sample from the surface of Bennu, came back to Earth, set it free, it parachuted into the right spot, boom, there it is, landed.
And that's how we die. I mean, are we bringing outer space soil. I mean, well, do we know what this soil is going to do if it interacts with our own air? I mean, I don't know if you're talking about this, but this is literally what I'm thinking about, Chris. This is the nightmare they warned us about in the 1980s. I think you're probably talking about politics, but I'm talking about sci-fi stuff. I mean, we should not, I don't know, be messing with things. Like, can it just stay in outer space?
They rushed to it. They ensured that it wasn't damaged, that the spacecraft hadn't been breached, and then they took it to a lab facility where everything is contained, so the sample can't be contaminated by anything Earth related. No oxygen and anything. Right. It's just that they can get very clear samples of whatever it is.
There's a movie. Hold on, Jake Gyllenhaal. I think it's called Life.
What do you think's in that capsule? Little tiny alien babies?
Thank you. And watch the horror movie if you guys want. It's called Life with Jake Gyllenhaal. Who else is in it? Ryan Reynolds is in it. Is it Ryan Reynolds that's in it? I think so. Yeah. Life. It is frightening, and it is literally the movie I thought of when I saw this story. And I was like, great. And then we're gonna die. Oh well. Okay.
There they are in there. The technology, what they did is incredible.
I mean, it is, but like here, I always say this: just because we can doesn't mean we should. Why? Why do we need this?
Well, we need to learn more about the space, what's out there, what things are made of. If this thing is headed toward Earth, then we have a better idea of how to destroy it.
No, stop. You know what? You can explore more of the ocean. We have not explored all of the ocean. Let's do that. At least it's already in this planet, or on this planet. No, I don't like it. I'm being a negative Nancy about it. Don't open that capsule. That's all I'm saying. This is the beginning. I've watched way too many scary movies.
Shoot it back off into space and don't look. Is that what you say?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Bye. Oh, Vicky's like, why, Kim? Why?
Exactly. We don't need it. It's not needed. I haven't sat here and be like, what the government's failing at? Bringing things from outer space back to Earth. Like, that's not something I think at all.
What if we learned something so cool and there's some type of, I don't know, chemical reaction or some type of mineral in there that could benefit Earthlings,
or it could not benefit Earthlings. Like, that's the thing. We're kind of gambling over here. That's my point. Is we don't know what we don't know. So why don't we just not know? And then our life is just as it is versus knowing. And then it could be a very, very, very,
I think it's going to be disappointing. It'll probably be like, yeah, it's rocks, just like here. Good job. Okay. We all came from the same place. Don't worry about it.
It's a rock. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Lastly, it's a story you already touched upon, but she's in the news, so
I love her. I
see in the chat you guys are already like, oh, Taylor Swift. But yes, she's fueling dating rumors between herself and NFL player Travis Kelce. On Sunday, Swift, we know we're learning about him now. We'll know him very well coming up. On Sunday, Swift showed up in Kansas City to support the Chiefs and sat in a private box with Kelce's mom. Rumors of a possible romance between the two have been flying around since for the last few weeks after TMZ reported they've been quietly hanging out.
All right. Since you're talking about it, I'll get it out of the way. Okay, so let's take down this picture. So here are the videos that were going viral over this whole interaction over the weekend. Let's see. This one is her really getting excited about a Kelce touchdown. Here we go.
11th play of the drive. Mahomes lofting end zone. There it is. A touchdown to Kelce.
Is very excited. Let's effing go. I mean, cussing in front of the moms is kind of a thing. And then finally, he's gonna shoot a shot. Here they are. Some reporter was like in the best spot ever. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? So yeah, they were together. He got his date. Apparently he shaved off his entire beard and it was only that mustache. I'm like, you should have left the beard. You look better with the beard. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cute. It's a cute story. I think Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, is quoted as saying like he set them up. I'm like, please give me a break. But it's fun. It brings attention. Like they need help to the NFL and to Taylor Swift. And so we'll see. Oh, yeah, Eric, great point. She is. I mean, she has been urging young people to register to vote, and it's just skyrocketed. If you ever saw the movie, and I didn't watch the whole thing, the documentary / movie, Miss Americana, with Taylor Swift, she talks about how upset she was when she didn't talk about Trump running for president the first time, and how she wants to speak out on it. They're like, no, her family's worried that if she speaks out, she's going to have all these death threats because, Trumpers can be nuts. And she's like, I don't care. I'm upset that I didn't speak out earlier. Yeah. And so she has a huge, huge platform. Let's see how she uses it.
Interesting. The opinions about that in the chat. Some people are feeling like glad her influence, is being used that way. Ricky O'Bear to Lori saying, you know what? I don't care. I'm sick of her. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. She's all over the place, and I understand that feeling, but at the same time, it is what it is, right? I mean, she's a huge star right now. And the fact that she's using that for good. Look at how much money she raised for food banks during her tour, right? I mean, look at how she's urging people to go out and vote, even if they're not registering as a Democrat, which I'm assuming she is, right? She's just telling people, you need to register, you need to vote, and let's get out there. And I think that using your celebrity in a way like that is kind of awesome. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. This report is crowdfunded, which means we do rely on you. Find us at thenikkimedoroshow.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com, the Patreon link, the PayPal link, all there for you. I'm Kim McAllister. It is The Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. All right, so Governor Newsom had his veto pen. He was working. I mean, he has to sign or veto all of these freaking bills that ended up on his desk. Let's see. AB 957, though, was getting some attention. It was backed by the California State Parent-Teacher Association, the Anti-Defamation League, the ACLU, and many LGBTQ groups. And he vetoed the law. It would have, hold on, I want to make sure that I get it right. So it would have made sure that transgender rights were protected. And I believe that this one had to, hold on, I lost it. I apologize. Okay. So he says that he shares a commitment to advancing transgender rights in California, but he saw AB 957 as potentially detrimental to the balance of governmental powers. He urged caution within the branches of government. Senator Weiner called it a mistake. And I think this one had to do with forcing schools to basically tell parents. No, this was the child custody case. I apologize. This is the one that would require judges to consider whether or not a parent who wanted custody of a child had to affirm the child's gender identity. That was the one that I was talking about. So what do you think? I mean, on one hand, is that the only determining factor? Is if a parent can get custody is whether or not they're going to affirm the child's gender. It's not the most important thing. I do think if you stand before a court and you have a transgender child already and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to recognize that should be considered. Does that make sense? I mean, to me, it feels if you're not going to see your child for who they are, that should be put into the equation. Should it be the only thing? Absolutely not. Randy says Newsom was right to veto that bill. I do think that when you count the things that are most important to parenting a child, understanding who they are and helping them find themselves is important. But at the same time, there's so many other things. I wouldn't want, a child. If I had a dream situation, I would want a child, one, to have healthy parents, loving parents, a healthy household, what have you. I'd like for them to live in a household in which they're getting 3 square meals a day, right? Being able to go to school. There are a number of things that I think are important for a child in choosing what household they grow up in. But Senator Weiner said this veto is a tragedy for trans kids here and around the country. These kids are living in fear with right-wing politicians working to out them, deny them health care, ban them from sports and restrooms, and erase their humanity. California needs to unequivocally stand with these kids. Yeah, you know what? I will say this. I think that it should be considered, but it shouldn't be the only consideration when we're determining child custody. Some other bills that Governor Newsom vetoed let's see, Assembly Bill 316, like Kim mentioned, I believe, would have required companies testing vehicles weighing more than 10,000 pounds to have a safety operator on board. This is for the oversight for autonomous cars. AB was dead on arrival, according to the governor. AB 316 was, though, backed by unions across the state. So many people are saying Newsom is going against kind of the progressives that have supported him. You're always going to do that. I think that Newsom is trying to strike a balance. But what do you think about Newsom being announced as the person giving the rebuttal to the GOP debate? So I saw that this morning. Governor Newsom, and the thing about rebuttals after debates that always get me is they already have it written. It's not as if they're listening to the debate, they're doing all of those sorts of things, and then coming up with something to say. It is already written. I'm curious on how long his rebuttal is going to go, because again, Governor Newsom isn't one for a script. And he doesn't. He has this so he memorizes everything.
Don't you think he's gonna come off as cocky? I think
that is your politics if you think that he's coming off as cocky.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. The truth is, he's just smarter than anyone they've got on the other side. And so he's going to come on and he's going to, refute everything they have said with facts. Right. And he's going to look cocky as hell while he's doing it. And he's not going to be the guy everyone wants to have a beer with, which is apparently how we vote for president now. Right?
Yeah, but he's not running for president. He can say whatever he wants. Right? I did not catch Newsom on 60 Minutes last night. I apologize. Usually I try to catch it, but I was busy last night. I was participating in a homecoming ask yesterday.
Oh, so tell me about that.
Oh no, it wasn't for my kid. It was for my friend's kid. But my daughter is really close friends with her and the guy that was asking. And so it was really, really cute. So that's what I was doing last night for hours on end with a bunch of kids. It was really cute. Way too much freaking pressure.
Julia had her first homecoming dance this weekend.
Oh, and how was that?
It was okay. Yeah, it was. She said it was a hot, sweaty mess inside that gym. Okay. She's like, there were so many people. It was hot. People were packed in there. I couldn't help thinking, oh, it's a COVID spreader.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking the same thing. So,
well. They're all in their dresses and they had a good time. And,
and she liked her dress.
She's still trying to find her people. So it's, it's okay. It's all right.
You're just a friend. And that's the whole thing. Like, we were doing this homecoming promposal. I call it a promposal, even though it's not prom. And I was standing with two other moms. It used to be way easier in our day, less pressure. Mm-hmm. And then, most of their friends, they're all going as a group. There's no date. It takes a while to find your people. It takes a while to find someone you want to date. I don't know. I think it's a bit much. Just pick up the phone, stand in front of somebody, say, do you want to go to the dance? Mm-hmm. But don't ever ask, and do not go all out unless you're guaranteed to get a yes. Don't just wing it. Please. Please, kids, don't do that.
I asked her if she danced with any boys. Did you dance with a boy?
No.
We just jumped around a bunch of group of us. Okay.
I feel like even in middle school, definitely in high school, it takes a while, I think, before that sort of thing happens. I know they do slow dances, so I guess the people that are on a date can slow dance, but I wouldn't go to a homecoming or a prom and necessarily think that if I don't come with a date that I'm going to be dancing during the slow dances. That's a little much, right? I mean, it's a little stressful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that she had fun. Okay. I did not see Newsom on 60 Minutes. I was like, how did I get on that? I did not watch, but I will watch. No. I was like, what was I talking about? Okay, well, let's go from governor to mayor. All right. So there is this guy. I have a picture of him. Here he is. And I'm really upset because I feel like this is just, you're lying to people. So here he is. This is Eric Johnson. He's the mayor of Dallas. And he announced on Friday he is switching parties and will serve as a Republican-affiliated mayor of the city that leans blue. Now, the mayoral office is nonpartisan, okay? So I don't know why he's doing this except for clout, I guess. He previously served as a Democrat in the Texas legislature, but he slammed his former party in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal. This is what he wrote. He says, the future of America's great urban centers depends on the willingness of the nation's mayors to champion law and order and practice fiscal conservatism. Our cities desperately need the genuine commitment of these principles as opposed to the inconsistent, poll-driven commitment of many Democrats. And that has long been a defining characteristic of the GOP. In other words, American cities need Republicans, and Republicans need American cities. I think he's a big fat liar. I think that he knew that he probably was not going to get elected as a Democrat. And so he was going to run. He was not going to get elected as a Republican, so he was going to run as a Democrat. But this was always in the works. So I was looking for reaction from people that live in this area. Keith Boykin, he's a former White House aide. He's the National Black Justice Coalition co-founder. He went to Harvard Law, Dartmouth, what have you. He's also an author of Why Does Everything Have to Be About Race, which is interesting. He posted this video, and I just loved it on Twitter, X, regarding Johnson flipping over to the Republican Party.
The Black Democratic mayor of Dallas now says he wants to be a Republican. I got questions. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson just got reelected in May. He wisely identified as a Democrat because he knew that Dallas County voted 65% for President Biden. Now, just 4 months later, Johnson is switching parties to become a Republican. Nothing has changed in the 4 months since Johnson's last election except his transparent opportunism. In the past year, he's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars with the Democratic Party and sought endorsements from local Black Democrats, only to turn around and switch parties a few months after taking office. That's why he should return the money he raised, resign from office immediately, and let the voters pick a new mayor who represents their values.
So what do you think about that? He campaigned and raised money as a Democrat. He raised money. He has this, this pot of gold because he said that he supported a certain platform. And Robert, if you look throughout history, that's not actually true. Okay. So it goes both ways. It goes to independence. It's just look up the history of it. It happens often. I will say that. And it's not one way to the other. I mean, you can't possibly believe that, Robert. I feel like Kim makes a good point here. She says, Nikki, we are supposed to be responsible voters. We should vote on issues and policies, not merely on the party line. But if he did a bait and switch, that is deception. In my opinion, he did a bait and switch. And you say issues and policies. Well, if you run, and now again, this is a mayor's race and it's nonpartisan. He's making it actually partisan, right? Mm-hmm. By saying I'm going to be a Republican mayor. But when you support certain things, it's kind of like Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. Like she voted against the minimum wage bill. Even though that has been on the Democratic Party platform for ages. So I think as a voter, if I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I want to vote for a Democrat because this issue and that issue and that issue, what you're talking about, Kim, matter to me, right? I am voting on issues and policies, and I want to vote on what I believe to be someone that agrees on these policies. If they don't, then they should run on that as well. They should be like, yes, I have a D after my name, but I do think that we need to make or work across the aisle on this issue. That's what I would want them to say. And Perry Joe, I get what you're saying. I try to never vote by party. I am not one to just look down and be like, as long as there is a D after their name. But on the same token, if there's an R after their name and they support that platform, that does mean something. That means that they are also going to put their effort behind issues and policies, the important things that I don't support. Does that make sense?
I don't know if this is true that it would that this happens with Democrats more. I don't know.
I mean, you can definitely Google it, Robert. It has happened so many times. Yeah. It would be hard pressed to, but at the same time, what does that mean? I don't know if it's necessarily a win or a lose. I feel if you are going to, if you want to be no party preference, be no party preference. If you want to be, I don't want to choose one because I want to work across the aisle, say that. But I don't think that you should run as a certain political party and then flip. So if Robert, you're saying it happens with more Democrats turning Republicans, I don't like that. I think you should run for what you're going to be during that term. Now, if, for instance, you're Eric Johnson and you're looking at your political party and you're like, I don't like it, then work across the friggin' aisle. If you can see the other side has a point and you understand this side's point, then use that to your advantage to bridge the gap. Don't abandon a political party. Look at voters who elected you and say, screw you. I know you voted me because I said that I supported this, but I really don't. Just work across the aisle. What is changing your political party while you're still in office do for the voters? Yeah. I think it only does something for you. And that's what I have a problem with.
I just think he knew.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
4 months,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think that I don't deny that people can change their ideology or their mind or, come around to a different form of thinking. That's happened to me more than once on an issue. Yeah. That maybe I start one way or I learn more about it, or I somehow come to a different way of thinking, or maybe he's come to realize that he's more of a Republican than a Democrat, or he's still swinging back and forth right in the middle, but he's more on the red side. Fine. But at least be honest with people. And if there's a vote is 4 months away, let them know who you really are.
Well, and Chris, here's a question. Can you separate the party from the platform? How do you do that? I will say this. What is the Republican Party? Mm-hmm. What do they stand for? I mean, people like law and order. No, you don't. Trump has been convicted, right? Your dear leader is a criminal, is a hands down criminal. You didn't believe in law and order for that. There's so many people that wish death, say it out loud on people. You don't say anything about that. The Republican Party, what are you for? Making healthcare better? Cleaning up the environment? No, you'll throw out the border, which yes, immigration reform needs to happen, but for decades it hasn't, because there is no quick answer to what's happening at the border. There just isn't. Although I do think, just on a side note, what's happening in cities in New York right now, there is a breaking point, and it's absolutely happening. And I said it before, it's genius. It's genius what Abbott and I'll even say DeSantis have been doing, of sending these migrants to these blue cities and saying, okay, you show us what you're going to do when thousands of people flood your city and you don't have the resources to take care of them. When they're sitting on your streets, when people are complaining and knocking on your door, now tell me what you're going to do. It's absolutely genius. And I say that knowing that it's also really mean, and you shouldn't treat people to score political. Right. These people are escaping, all those things. But politically, genius move. Yeah. Genius move. Because now you have people like Eric Adams and all kinds of people being like, shoot, what do I do? And now they have a taste of what some of these border Texas towns are feeling. And I think that that's what's been missing in the conversation. Now, do I wish that they would just work together and not use these people as pawns because they're human beings trying to escape something absolutely horrific? Absolutely. But are they making their point loud and clear? Yes, they are. Randy, although they talk about it a lot, I don't know how Republicans would fix the issue at the border. Exactly. And can someone define what immigration reform means? Does it mean amnesty? I think amnesty is a part of it. I think that this is what drives me nuts, Randy and others. We have to close our borders. That is the most asinine and impossible thing to do. Shut the border. You know what? That's like saying they should build a levee to stop the ocean. You can't just create something out of thin air instantly. Can you make what's happening at the border run better? Absolutely. Should there be more judges and lawyers? I say this all the time. This is the answer. It's just going to take time. You need more judges, more lawyers, more courts to go through the asylum claims. There needs to be more policing. There needs to be better checks for not just people, but also the trucks that go through our ports that are the actual things, bringing in things like fentanyl. If you think that people are moving the gigantic amounts of fentanyl coming into this country, you're insane. It's coming in the trucks. We need more people and security at the ports to go through all of these trucks. Solving this, also the economic toll of let's just round people up and remove them from the country, as if this country could survive without this population, is nuts. It's not easy. There's no easy answer. We just need to have the system of coming into and out of this country run more smoothly. Not everybody that comes is a criminal, and not everybody that comes is a nice person that wants to just be a benefit to this country. Donald says, if we want to look like East-West Germany in the past, then build the wall. I don't want that to happen. No, it doesn't make any freaking sense. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Unless you're literally going to kill people who cross the border illegally. That is the only thing that I could think of, is that you start shooting and killing innocent people at the border, but which we're not going to do. So there is nothing. What we are asking for, the solution, is bureaucratic. It's expensive. It's going to take, bipartisan support. If not, it's just a talking point. It's a freaking talking point for Republicans. Democrats are failures because look at the border. Okay, what would you do? What would you do today that's going to make a difference tomorrow? I'd build the wall. That's going to be built in a day? No, it's not. So there is no easy answer. Republicans don't have an answer. But Republicans, in my opinion, are the party of bitching and moaning with no true solution. PT says, for Ballotpedia, there have been 83 state lawmakers who switched from Democrat to Republican since 1994. Only 23 have switched from Republican to Democrat. PPL tend to become
people.
PPL.
Yeah.
Conservative with age. Well, okay, that last part may be true. I don't necessarily know if that correlates directly with people. So you could take it one of two ways. Either people smarten up or they just become bigger liars, right? So you run as something and then you switch parties. So it could be a benefit or a negative depending on how it looks. I don't like it either way. I don't like it, you being a Republican switching to Democrat or a Democrat switching to a Republican. You should stay the party you are if that's how you ran and how you campaigned and got campaign dollars. Because again, if you are able to work across the aisle, if you are truly someone who's like, I ran as a Democrat, but they're making some really good points. Work with that. You don't need to actually change your political party after you already ran as one thing, because I feel that's disingenuous, but then work across the aisle. If you could see the other side's point, that's a miracle in Washington, D.C. these days. Use it. Use it to convince people that are part of your own political party, like, hey, they're making some good points. Unless you're only switching political parties because you never saw the other side. Vilma says Republicans are not working across the aisle these days. So if you happen to be a Republican, that is who you are. And there will be no compromise. I don't know if that's necessarily true with every single Republican. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the reputation they have right now. It's ridiculous. It's contradictory. It's hypocritical. It's all of these things, It's like, we care about the children. We are so pro-life. And yet the number one killer of people under the age of 19 is guns. And they do nothing about gun control. Nothing. The Second Amendment. So the Second Amendment is worth more than our children to the Republican Party, who will still make a woman carry an unwanted pregnancy. So see, they're totally hypocritical. They don't give a crap. They just want to make political points. Chris says, if you don't pay taxes, you shouldn't be able to vote to increase taxes. Oh, that's interesting. Vilma, all Republicans do is bitch about immigration, but offer no solutions. Yep, that's very, very true. It's because there is no easy solution. I don't even know if there is a solution to it. I mean, there are terrible things happening. Do I think that if you pass through a city that is safe, that you should try to seek asylum there first? Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. I really don't. I see absolutely no problem with being like, hey, we can't take the world. The world cannot live in the United States. Not all of South America can live in the United States. That can't happen. Now, is every single city in town between, wherever to here dangerous? Can't be. But do they want to be here? Number one, yes. But there has to be a medium there. There has to be. I just don't know how we get there with all the politics happening in our country nowadays. Yeah. How do we know if there are multi-billionaires on the other side of the border offering the immigrants a bus ride to the border in order to affect political change in America? Yeah. I mean, does it make sense let's go down the conspiracy hole, Vilma. All right. Does it make sense for Republicans to make the situation really bad at the border? Yes. It doesn't make any political sense. Let's just talk politics. It makes zero political sense for Republicans to work with President Biden to improve conditions at the border. Why would it make political sense? They want to use it against Biden. They want it to be terrible. Yeah. They want to show the worst. Now, is it bad still? Yeah. Have you seen some of these pictures? Geez, Louise. Yes. So it's not like they're lying about it, but I don't think that they're in any way, shape, or form wanting to work with the president on it. They just want to put their own person in because they think they can handle it. And I don't think that's true. I don't know what the hell, if Trump or another Republican became president of the United States, and let's take Trump out of it because he was the whole guy. But if another Republican comes up there and wants to build the wall, I mean, at some point they're going to realize that's not the answer, right? It doesn't make any sense. You can't build a wall everywhere. Ladders and shovels exist. It's a long border. You can't possibly police the whole thing. So it's not actually a solution. It's just an expensive freaking extension of the manhood for some people like Trump, right? It's like, I built that wall. It's not doing what you want it to do. We have to fix the problem. The root of the problem is these people live in very violent, poor areas. And until we, make an effort to improve these things and work with their governments and help with cartels and all sorts of things, it's going to continue. Okay, let's do some headlines a little bit early because hopefully we are going to be speaking, and I want to get a picture of her because I don't think I have a picture of her on the book. Well, she's on the back, but Sam Reese, she's a comedy writer. She's an actor. She's written a book called Shitty Craft Club. It's a very colorful, fun book of how to make all kinds of crafts. So we'll talk about how she started this. It took off during COVID, apparently. A lot of people are part of this online club. If you're crafty, you'll love it. If you love things like Nailed It, those types of shows, you'll love it. And again, I want to talk to her about the writer's strike and the actor's strike and how she feels about this tentative agreement, if she knows anything, and how difficult it can be to actually be a comedy writer and what people may not understand about that kind of career choice. Click the thumbs up button, and then we will talk to Sam Reese next on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And good morning to you on the Nikki Medoro Show. Let's start with President Biden welcoming leaders from the Pacific Island nations to the White House today. This summit seen as an effort to counter China's rising influence in the region. A tentative agreement has been reached in an effort to resolve the ongoing Hollywood writers' strike. The Writers Guild of America releasing a statement last night saying the deal was made possible by the enduring solidarity of WGA members and the extraordinary support of union siblings. Picketing was suspended as of Sunday night after more than 140 days. We still don't know all the particulars of the agreement, and they still have to take a vote as to whether everyone is accepting of the tentative deal. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs says the state is overwhelmed by the recent migrant surge at the border. Hobbs recently announcing the state is giving a $10 million grant to border police officers so they can buy communication equipment. She said the state can't afford to lose manpower at the ports of entry. She called on the federal government to do its job and take action to ensure that the border is secure and the migration process is orderly and humane as well.
You need a lot of people to do that, though. This is the other thing that I always question, and I know it probably comes down to salary and funding, but how much money are we using and it's not working at the border? So people are looking for jobs. Americans are looking for jobs. They can't go work at the border. Go work for courts. Go work, if you have a law degree, don't not donate your time, but these are the areas in which we need you. And if the federal government is going to urge people to do something, they should urge people to do this because it has such a hopefully positive effect for the rest of the nation. So I don't know.
Let's go to the Bay Area. A few stories happened over the weekend that I thought we should draw attention to. One, store owners tomorrow in the city of Oakland plan to shut their doors to protest the rise in crime around Oakland. Some 200 businesses in Oakland have pledged to remain closed Tuesday as a strike against crime. Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao says the city is taking even more steps to fight the rise in crime, including installing 300 cameras around the city and expanding patrols in specific neighborhoods. This might have some impact. If you close the stores, no purchases can be made, and therefore the city loses out on all this tax revenue. Maybe money is what hurts them? No?
I don't.
Nothing?
When I saw this headline, Oakland businesses are going to strike because they're losing business because of crime. It's like, make it make sense to me. I understand, and I'm not trying to defend Chantal, the mayor of Oakland. Do we really think she's not aware? Like, do you think she wants these headlines? That's my question. It's like, everybody knows, even people that don't live anywhere close to Oakland knows what's going on in Oakland right now. So it's not as if, but she does have a point. Now, firing Laron Armstrong as police chief and that whole thing, did it help with police morale and staffing? No, probably not. But bringing attention to the problem that everyone knows about, and then losing a day's worth of income for these stores and businesses, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to you. No.
There is a cold case in Vallejo that appears to have been solved, and a man has been arrested after 40 years. A person now in custody in connection with this 4-decade-old case involving the murder of a Vallejo boy. Prosecutors say Fred Kane III was arrested this last week at his house in Oregon after DNA evidence linked him to the murder of the 6-year-old boy. The victim had been abducted from his home in 1987.
Wow.
His body found in Sacramento County days later. Prosecutors said the victim had been sexually assaulted before killed. Kane has waived extradition, will be transferred soon to Solano County to face charges after 40 years.
40 years. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, those cold cases, can you imagine just getting a phone call and saying they had a breakthrough after 40 years?
The
That's
suspect
nuts.
is almost 70 years old now.
I mean, look at the Golden State Killer. Look how old he was. I mean, they did, and you must think that you got away with it at that point, right? I mean, that's crazy.
A person is behind bars following a string of stabbings in Berkeley that turned deadly. Yeah, the police say a woman was killed in one of 3 separate stabbing incidents around the city. This was on Saturday afternoon. Officers were called to Overlook Road about a person with a knife threatening people in that area. They say a suspect fled the scene but was eventually tracked down and arrested. So it was scary. And over at the Coliseum, the Oakland A's are saying goodbye to the city of Oakland.
That's so
Sayonara.
sad.
The A's played their last home game of the season Sunday, which doubled likely as their very last home game in Oakland ever. The team's lease is up after the 2024 season. The A's are exploring finding a temporary home next season before they likely move on to lost wages. Over 13,000 fans showed up Sunday to watch the A's get shut out. Many of them carried signs pleading with ownership to find a way to stay in Oakland.
You would have hoped that they could have won the freaking game, but they suck so bad. And I say that with all my heart. They're not good. I think they broke the record for the number of losses in a season or something. Now, I don't say that I'm not a huge baseball person. You just wish this, if it was made for a movie, like this would have been the winningest season, right? Like or something. But no, because John Fisher didn't invest in the freaking team. And they don't, have the best players. They lose all their good players, and it's a really sad kind of, end to a team that's been here since the 60s, the late 60s. It's just really sad. Goodbye, A's.
Lastly, we have this story about Sophia Loren.
Ooh,
she fell over the weekend.
Oh no!
I thought I had a picture of her. Nope, I don't. So she fell over the weekend and she is hospitalized. Italian media reporting the 89-year-old suffered a broken hip after falling in her home. A spokesperson for Sophia Loren said the surgery went well. Everything will be resolved. But she's pushing 90 and breaking a hip. That's always pretty scary.
They tell you after a certain age, don't fall. It sounds simple enough, but when you fall, because obviously you're older and your bones are more brittle and things like that, it could be devastating. Just, I got out of the truck just the other day and I hurt myself really badly. I was trying not to have my door hit the car next to me. It was my husband's truck, and I slammed back against the little piece of metal that sticks out that locks your door. Oh my God. It really hurt. So I'm sure I have a gigantic bruise, but if I fell on the ground, that'll do you in after a certain age. I'm approaching it. slowly but surely. But yeah.
Yeah, they say after a certain age, you breathe the wrong way, and all of a sudden you're sore
exactly.
for days.
Exactly.
Oh, we're all old now. This report is crowdfunded, and it means that we are sponsored by you. You'll find the Patreon and PayPal links at thenikkimedoroshow.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim, so very much. All right. So Kim, are you a crafter? Are you crafty?
I am not crafty, though I do have a glue gun, and if the kids need help from school, I will attempt.
I have a glue gun. It's not my glue gun. I took it after a bridal shower. Somebody had it in a bag and they never took it home. So that's how I've ended up with this glue gun. I don't know where this glue gun is. If you have a glue gun, though, you need to get this book. I mean, even if you don't have a glue gun, you should get this book. But I went through this book. It's called The Shitty Craft Club. It's by a comedy writer and actor, Sam Reese. And I'm looking through all the crafts, and a hot glue gun. It's like the number one thing you need in order to make some of these crafts. Let us welcome Sam Shitty Crafts Reese. Thank you so much for coming on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you so much for having me. And let me just say, that's why there's a chapter about how the glue gun is a therapist, because it's the number one piece of the book.
Okay, so Sam, first off, how do people know you? Because you're a comedy writer, you're an actor. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. I've been a comedy writer for the past 10 years. I perform musical comedy and write TV with my best friend, Becky Chacoin. We are a duo. And then during the pandemic, I started my TikTok, and because that's all I had to do. I tell all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I had started a little live event called Shitty Craft Club for me and my friends to get together and just glue stuff to trash and sing the Spice Girls. And I started doing it every month. And it just became a thing. It was great. And when I couldn't do it anymore in person, I started experimenting with TikTok, and it blew up a little bit, and a smash cut to the book.
Now, this is a really fun, colorful book. Let me show it again. I just got it this weekend, so I was not able to make anything. I wanted to make, the first thing in your book is the trophy, which is really, really fun. But I mean, you can use everything from aluminum foil to the hot glue guns to gems to charms to all. I mean, I'm sure every Swiftie should probably get this book because they can make the friendship bracelets in it. I mean,
you can't find beads anymore. I feel like the Swifties sold out the Michaels and Joannes.
That's very true.
It's really impressive.
I mean, this Shitty Craft Club, I mean, it's taken off. What do you hear from people that kind of follow you, that do some of these things? It has to be a little bit of tactile therapy in a way.
It really is. Yeah. I get a lot of great DMs from people talking about how they couldn't find the joy in making art anymore, and how it was, work was stressing them out and they were burnt out, and just gluing some pom-poms to a candle or whatever it was. Took their brain off of what they were stressed about and brought some joy back into their life. So it really makes my day when people tell me how shitty crafts specifically, have changed the course of their life. And I'm like, it really is therapeutic just to focus on something really silly, and it's very peaceful.
Yeah, it is.
How do you take something from some fun thing you're doing with friends and then something that you're doing online to actually getting Chronicle Books to make a book about it? I mean, it's a great idea, but how did you know how to go? Where's that avenue?
Totally. I know it's not magic. It's a lot of hard work. Mm-hmm. I guess my experience as a comedy writer and an actor and a writer, making my TikTok videos was really fun because I had a very strong point of view. I guess I know what I wanted my videos to feel like and sound like, and I was editing them myself. So my voice I was developing my voice online. And first a book agent reached out to me, and we worked on a book pitch all summer and dreaming of all the things the book could be. And Dina, my editor, had been following the TikTok on her own for some time and reached out organically without us even needing to send the book pitch. And it was just this beautiful synchronicity. And
that's awesome.
It really just worked out so great.
I'm going to show a picture from online because some of the crafts that you make are in this picture. So I really wanted to show it. Did you feel pressure to make it not shitty since you were making a book about it?
I know. I was like, I have to make the book perfect, but then the whole book is about breaking perfectionism. What a terrible cycle I'm in. But no, that was a good reminder throughout the process. Like, oh, if something falls off of it while we're shooting it, get the picture. We probably will use it. It's a good theme to keep in all of your work, even if it's not creative. It's just like if you're a beginner at something, if you're experimenting, even if you're a professional and you're like, I do this every day and something goes wrong, it's like that's part of the process, the creative process. And there's so many pictures in this book that we took at my apartment at 3 a.m. because we ran out of time in the studio. And I wonder if you could pick them out. I don't know. But it was just one of those moments where we were like, ooh, this could look different than that photo but it
looks great. I mean, honestly, with the amount of colors and all the different textures and the way things look, it's fun. Is there a certain demographic, let's say, that kind of attracted to doing these sorts of crafts?
I think it's kind of all over the place. It's a lot of obviously people my age, because that's like my direct audience. So I'm in the 25 to 35 range. But I mean, I just did a little event this weekend at a little store called Jenny Lemons in San Francisco. And there were moms with their teenage daughters. There were young, Gen Z, there were millennials. I think shitty crafts are timeless. And it can really be any age. There was a mom who was like, my daughter just decided to paint the kitchen table, and now that's her table. Yeah. And now we've drawn it together. It's really cool. It's multi-generational.
You see in the last few years, all these, I should say, all these moms doing paint club night, where they go and they do one. Okay, so and then there's a picture, the obligatory shot afterward, where everyone holds up there, yes, and everyone's looking at, who did the best one and who did the, and I think that Shitty Craft Club really takes the pressure off. Yeah. Because it's like, you don't have to have the best one. You don't have to be, come and show off your craft prowess and how great you can make something look and how pretty it is. It's just like how fun it is to be together and do something dumb, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Takes the pressure off of it. It's silly. It really just is being creative with other people. Yeah. It creates this great energy. And I make everybody at the beginning of an event take an oath. Do you guys want to take the oath?
Please, let's take it. Let's do it.
All right. Repeat after me. Here at Shitty Craft Club.
Craft Club.
Everything I make is perfect.
Everything I make is perfect.
And gorgeous and stunning.
And gorgeous and stunning.
Here at Shitty Craft Club.
Here at Shitty Craft Club.
Everyone in this room is my best friend.
Everybody in this room is my best friend.
Here at Shitty Craft Club.
Here at Shitty Craft Club.
Perfectionism is not an option.
Perfectionism, is that what you said? Is not an option.
Right.
Yep. Here at Shitty Craft Club, you cannot sue me if you burn yourself with a glue gun. It's legally binding.
Here at Shitty Craft Club, you cannot sue me if you burn yourself with a hot glue gun.
Because somebody will, yes.
Which Eric, our listener, says, I always burn my fingers when I use hot glue gun.
Yeah, it's a spicy little guy, that thing.
It is.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to, but even still, there's times when I've just fully glued a bead to my finger and I'm like, this hurts a lot and I should do something faster about this.
Right. I mean, is there something you love making though? I mean, what if you had to make something right now, not saying you're going to do it right now, but what is your favorite thing to make?
I go through like seasons, where like I was really obsessed with making pom-poms and I made this huge like wall hanging. But right now I'm really into making like real life objects into like giant beaded versions. Like I'm working on a basketball right now that's just made of beads, like a regulation size basketball. I don't know. Really, it just sits in the house.
That's cool. Yeah. I follow, on TikTok videos and things like that. I'm seeing people, of the younger generation though, but are living on their own for maybe the first time, or they have their own apartment or what have you. I mean, they are not afraid of color and all these different things. It seems like some of these apartments and the designs would be perfect backdrops for things like the shitty crafts and things like that. Do you find we're moving away from, kind of those classic type of looks, the clean, the white, the gray, the modern farmhouse, if that's what you want to call it, whatever?
I mean, personally, I hope so. I love a wild room,
Yes.
I think a lot of it, like I know, especially for millennials, the millennial gray is like a thing right now. But it's really getting your inner child involved with your decorating is very fun. And I think it's great to like think about what would teenage you be dreaming about for a room, and then think of maybe, you know, what's the elevated version of that, but you know, would it bring your inner child joy to wake up every morning and have like a hot pink bedroom? Like,
heck yeah. Right. I used to have a lot of color in my first house that I rented with my now husband and some friends. And they used to call it the real world house, if I'm aging myself, because it was like every room was a different color. And I'm like, I need color in my life. I need it. And so, but in my older age, I'm like, I need more color. I need to bring it in different ways. So
this book just came out, what, September 19th? It's been just a few days. How's it doing so far?
Oh, it's great. I'm so happy people are able to hold it in their hands and bring it to their craft rooms and to their friends and make weird stuff, and lots of great DMs. And I'm bopping around on a book tour. I'm heading to New York this week.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I'll be at the Moxie Hotel doing a little in-craftersation with my comedian friend Joe Firestone. Everyone should stop by. And then I'll be in Seattle and Portland the following week. So,
I will say it seems like a really good holiday gift, this book. Just really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's perfect. You get a glue gun, you get some beads, the book.
Done.
Incredible.
Can I ask you, Sam, just on another note, I'm sure you've been following the writers' strike and obviously the SAG-AFTRA strike. You're a comedy writer. You're also an actor. You've kind of been in this world. What don't people understand about being a comedy writer? Because sometimes, I was saying this earlier, you know, oh, Jon Stewart's really funny. Jon Stewart has a bunch of writers that also work with him. Jon Stewart is funny, but it's not like he does it on his own. You know, with this strike going on and people's shows being on pause and things like that, from your perspective, of someone that's like in the business, what do you want people to fully understand about this?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. I think what people don't understand is that the streamers that we all, you know, these amazing shows are on these streamers, Hulu and Netflix, and the deals that writers get for those are completely different than you know, ABC, Fox, where for years and years the writers' room would be for, you know, months and months at a time. You had a job, you had a salary, you had health insurance, it was guaranteed. And now, because the budgets are so small, they're giving writers 2 weeks in a writer's room to write an entire TV show. They're not making their health insurance cutoffs, you know. There's just not enough resources coming from these streamers that make so much money. And these writers are putting in so much work to make these amazing shows. And, you know, we reached a tentative deal for the WGA, which is super exciting. I'm also part of SAG, and it's the same thing. It's, you know, residuals for actors coming off of these streamers are 4 cents, 5 cents, $1. And where it used to be able to be, you used to make a living from residuals. And really the only way you can do that as an actor is if you're in a commercial. So say I get a TV show, I'll make, you know, my SAG day rate, which is between $400 and $500. And then that's it. That's it. And then the residuals might come a couple years later, you know, depending on the success of the show. And both jobs are just not sustainable as the only thing you do. That's why so many of us are copywriting, where we're writing our own thing. I made my own path because I had no other choice. You know, I think a lot of people are doing that. And it's
here's the question I also have is, I feel like there's a lot of crap, right, on these streaming services. They're just putting out all these shows. On one hand, it does give writers more of an opportunity to create something. But then on the other hand, you're only getting what you said, like a couple of weeks to develop this whole show that also might just get canceled for no good darn reason. And then people are upset about it. So what would you rather have? More opportunities to make shows or fewer opportunities, but you know you're going to get paid?
I think there's a world where we can find a sort of medium place. You know, I think it depends. There's so many networks now. There's like these weird networks that pop up, and they're all subsidiaries of the larger places. And my hope is that we get to a place where people who are in charge, these executives, these development people, they're really making work that they love and they're passionate about, and not just because it's going to make money. And even in that case, like sometimes they don't, and it's just because they thought it spin-offs or remakes, and give writers a chance to create new work, to trust them to create something great, and to reach out to writers whose voices aren't usually heard. They reach out to the same 5 celebrities to make TV shows, but there's thousands of amazing writers with lived experiences that are unlike anything we've ever seen. And I'm really hopeful that we can give more of those shows a chance. And then there's better, more quality opportunities where we can also make a living. And that's
Are you scared of AI? I know that was a sticking point for a lot of these negotiations.
Yeah. I think AI, the way they're talking about creating a likeness for you to use in background or reshoots like that, that's unacceptable. That is wild. The only example I've seen that makes sense to me, maybe it's a little out there, but it's using AI to basically cast kids, because child actors, it's such a struggle to be a kid in this industry. I can't even imagine. And is it ethical to have a kid on a TV show for their entire life? They can't be a kid, that could be interesting. But in general, I think AI should be kept out of the writers' rooms. I think it should be kept out of movies, TV, and I think it should be only used to organize your calendar. Things like that. You write letters to landlords. That's what it should be used.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, I don't like AI either. I don't see the need for it. I feel like we're just making ourselves obsolete, like literally creating something that is making people obsolete, and I don't like it at all. So I agree with you completely there.
You know what? It's funny. Let's go back to the Shitty Craft Club for a moment, because when you think about AI and all the ways that it's kind of infiltrating our society with driving and, TV shows, whatever it may be, writing letters, and you look at the Shitty Craft Club, that is so human. Like there's
exactly.
no,
you need that hand to make that,
There's an AI could not do Shitty Craft Club. I mean, this is so, and maybe that's why it's so appealing to me, is because it's just so, everything's so personal about whether your craft sucks or whether it's great. It's just, you did that.
Yeah. You made something. Yeah. I think that's what's so amazing about people who make things, earrings, necklaces, home goods, like whatever it is. Right. I just love makers. I think it's so cool. And the skills that people have are so incredible. Even in Shitty Craft Clubs, people come to the event, and we decorated tote bags last night, and there were people weaving lace and making work with zippers. And it was just so impressive and so creative. And I love seeing the finished products that people make, since they're all so different and so unique to the individual. And you can't get that with a computer. It's beautifully human.
Exactly. So now if people want to be part of the Shitty Craft Club, I know you have Instagram and TikTok. Is that all they have to do? I mean, how do they join your club, I guess, and make tote bags and stuff with you?
Yeah, I think as soon as you decide you want to join, you're part of it. There's no requirements other than
having a hot glue gun.
Yeah, hot glue gun certainly will help. But yeah, I always say, like, you can grab some bobby pins off the ground and put them on a piece of paper, use some markers. Like, that's enough. That's your membership card right there. But yeah, I if you are interested in coming to any of the events, I post everything on my Instagram. It's all on there. All the tickets are all linked and RSVPs. And I love when people DM me and send me their shitty crafts and show me what they're working on. So please do.
Awesome. Yeah, and her Instagram is in the show notes of this show, so you guys can find the link directly right there. I love it. I think the book is so cute. I mean, everything down to like the little it's a really, really great book. And Kim's right. His birthday is coming up. If you have anybody, and the great thing is you don't have to be crafty. This isn't the point. Like, there's no bar here for it, so it's a good gift.
Oh, we have a listener viewer that says they can't wait to see you in New York. That's Abigail.
Yay! Right on. Abigail, go say hi from us to you. Well, good luck on your tour.
I'll be at the Moxie Hotel in Williamsburg on September 28th.
Awesome.
That's coming up in a couple of days. All right. Well, Sam Reese, Shitty Craft Club, pick up the book. It's in bookstores now. Thank you so much for taking time and coming on the Nikki Medoro Show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Bye. Yeah, I need to make something.
We're going to have to make a shitty craft club thing. We're going to have to follow one of her TikToks and on the show. Maybe we can have her back to like lead a craft segment for the whole.
There's so many cute things in here. I'm telling you. There's a ton of pom-pom stuff. But again,
what's your favorite as was you're flipping through?
They have what the trophy really is the funniest one. I know it's the first one in there, and that's probably why it's the first one. The shitty trophy. You make the handles. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get this. I should have kind of. But like, so there it is. It's just like you use foil for the handles right there. It's really cute and it's easy peasy. And then she like just props it up on her toilet. You know what I mean? Like you just have it in a place where everyone's going to be able to see it. It's a really, really cute thing. Maybe I'll make something and I'll put it in the I'll put it in the my favorite things box. So maybe you'll get a craft from me. See if I can get it together. I need to find that hot glue gun. I know I have a hot glue gun somewhere, but she seems so sweet. And I love what she was saying about, it's just kind of therapy for people. Like just make something with your hands. That's all you need to do. And you can veg out and you can zone out and do that.
You know those nights where like it's the night before and your kid has just said to you, oh, I have this project due tomorrow. And you're like, what? And then they get halfway done with it and they go to bed because they're exhausted little creatures. And then who's sitting at the kitchen table? Right. That's exactly right. And you're trying to pick those weird little strings of glue that, are left behind by the glue gun off. But you know what? After it's done, and I realize it's supposed to be their project, but after it's done and I'm looking down at it and I know they're going to come out in the morning and see this creation,
and it's done,
I'm feeling pretty proud sometimes.
It's funny because you're not supposed to do the projects, Kim McAllister.
I don't mean to do the project.
You are not supposed to do it. But when you do, you can't do it too well. There's a balance.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be the parent that's going to do the project, you got to make it shitty enough.
I don't mean to do the project, you guys. It's not my intent to do the project. But when told with hours to spare, the project is due.
Oh, I know. God forbid. But the other problem with this is I could see, it getting, like you'll have a room full of just knickknacks and stuff. Oh, I can make something out of that. If you go down that rabbit hole, you're going to have like 50, toilet paper rolls or whatever, because you don't want to throw it away because you're like, I can make a shitty craft out of that. So that's funny.
She has a website. It's Sam Reese, REECE, samreese.com. And there's access to all of her videos on there. A lot of her work is on there. Check it out. She's really funny and just fun and accessible.
It's a lot.
So,
exactly. And again, her Instagram is in the show notes as well. So check her out. And great get. She was really, really fun. And you can start making some, you know what I'm saying? Who doesn't like a handmade birthday gift or Christmas gift or something like that? If you're looking for something that's economical too, I mean, depending on what you're making, sometimes I make something and I'm like, I could have bought it for $12 and I spent $50 on all the stuff to make it. But depending on what it is, if you make somebody, my sister-in-law, she's very artistic. She makes us, Christmas ornaments. She's made all sorts of things. And I love it because it's original. It's, you can't find it in the store. So if you're crafty, you could do something like that. Do you still have all the kids' crafts from like kindergarten and all those sorts of things?
On the top
you threw it away? Oh,
I saved the big one. So like on the top of my dining room hutch thing, I have the Native American village.
Okay.
I have the robot from kindergarten, the self robot that's supposed to be designed after yourself. And then I think I have some other type of large creation up there. I forget which one it is. But yeah, I have some big ones up there do they look pretty? No,
but it's a memory.
It is. I have a friend who, back when, now that we don't do this anymore, that in 4th grade, you used to be the year you did the mission. So you went to the mission, you created the mission, and her kids' missions are really elaborate. And she has them on the shelves in her kitchen and they look so cool. I'm not saying the whole mission thing was great and I'm not making a political commentary about missions. The art in itself was cool.
Yeah, cool.
My kids, it's on like a cardboard piece of thing. It's not, it doesn't look cool, but it's there anyway. I'm not throwing it away.
Lori says, if you like this, they changed the Maker Fair from May to October this year.
Oh.
It's in a couple of weeks on Mare Island. maybe October 13th to 15th, the 20th through the 22nd. Thank you, Lori, for that. I've never been to the Makers Fair, although my kids my kids love doing stuff like this. They geek out on it. Again, as my daughter gets older, it's kind of pushing her to do that. But once she's there, she totally wants to make things, which is awesome. I still have the Christmas ornaments for my kids. That's the number one thing I keep. I still have, I think that we got rid of the butter costume that my son was last year for Halloween. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's just packed away somewhere, but we have the haunted house that he was. Yeah. Because that was the original. Do you know what your kids are going to be this year for Halloween?
No idea. I have asked because I like to, get a jump on things. You're a costume maker, but I'm
only
not very
occasionally.
Crafty. I'm kind of a buyer. I'm a costume buyer.
I prefer to buy, but my son always wants something original. So then I have to figure out how to make it.
That's so cool. I wish I was that creative. I think we should have Sam back to lead like a holiday craft segment.
Oh, that would be very, very fun. Yeah, we'll have to reach out and set something up because I'm sure she's pretty busy with the book tour. But yeah, again, Shitty Craft Club. My son this year. Should I say what he's going to be this year for Halloween?
No. What is he? What's the story?
He wants to be a traffic cone.
Oh, with eyes? Or is his body the cone and his head sticking out, or what?
Okay, so this is the way that so he tells me. And then I dream up how it's going to look. Okay. So yes, he was a stick of butter, at least. Last year he was a stick of butter. This year he wants. Adorable. It was really cute. I did the butter word on the wrapper. It was, and he won. Okay. So this year he wants to be a traffic cone. I was suggesting a magic broom, but he didn't want to be a magic broom. He wanted to be a traffic cone. So what I'm thinking is that the cone is going to go all the way over his head. And then I'm going to get like yellow, like see-through material, like kind of a mesh or whatever. So that's an orange. So it looks like it's a full cone, but he could see through it. Mm-hmm. It's going to have handles so he can hold it up. But I wish that he was skilled enough on like roller skates or something. Not that I'd send him to school on roller skates, but that he could like kind of move. Like it was like, that's what I wanted to do with the magic broomstick. Like if you can do it. Yeah, no, it's going to be better than that. I'm not buying it. That looks like candy corn to me. That looks like candy corn to me.
Well, okay. Yeah, you're right. It does. Yeah. It's made of felt. I mean, you have to give it to him.
So I guess I'm really picky. I'm like what I'm imagining in my head, Kim, is just way better than that. Sorry.
You are not going by the Shitty Craft Club clause the mantra that we took.
Oh,
wow.
No. If you want to see, I've shown you this picture about how when I made my son's birthday cake, he was, if anybody knows who Bendy is, do you know who Bendy is? It's like this character.
Like Gumby and Bendy? Gumby and Pokey?
No, it's like this character. Oh, here it is. Good, I found it. Okay, are you ready? So you're going to have to, hold on, let me save the image so I show it. It's the wrong direction, but I had it in my head. This was going to be the easiest cake to make. Okay. It was going to be so freaking easy. I had it in my head. So this is how it happens. I'm really overconfident. And then all of a sudden I have to make it and I have the wrong supplies. I don't have the right thing. So the problem before I show you the cake, I didn't have the right the frosting tip. So I had a very thin thing. Okay. Very, very thin. And it was too late to go get a new one because it was literally, I did it on the day of his party. So y'all have to turn your head to the right because I couldn't flip it. But so if you want to talk about shitty crafts, that's Bendy. And anybody that knows Bendy knows I did a pretty good job. I'm going to say it wasn't that bad, but yeah, that's okay. That was the cake that I made. Now, if I would have had a big, thick, black, tip for my frosting, I could have done that and no problem. But unfortunately, I did not. I had the thin little one and I had to like sprinkle it in. And then there was a point in making the design that I said, F it. And I was like, it's going to be a nailed it type of cake. And so I showed it to my son and he was so sweet. He's like, it looks great, Mom. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Okay. So that's actually pretty good. That is
one for sale. You could buy that one.
How much does it say? So it's not too bad, but he wants it all the way down to his feet because he wants to actually like be a traffic cone on campus. So he wants to like stop so people have to go around him. Like there's a whole humor to his costume. Okay. So he doesn't want to just be like, I'm a traffic cone. No, he wants to like be the traffic cone. If that makes sense. He wants to block people. He wants to totally do it. Yes, the arms will need to be inside the cone. He wants to hold it up. And then he wants to be able to just kind of slightly bend down. And so then he's a traffic cone on the ground. And then, there's a whole performative aspect of it.
He needs to stay out of traffic though.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to have to take him. But he was butter. And that one worked out perfectly.
I love the butter. Do you have a picture of the butter?
Let me see if I can.
Because that was one of the best costumes. Really cute.
I mean, I think I showed it off on this show because I was so freaking proud of myself. Because again, it's all me. I'm not trying to but it's me. Let's see. Post for me. Why can't I find it? Butter. Let's see. Butter. He won and he was so excited. Oh, here it is. Okay. I got it. Hold on. Let me save it so you can see it. But again, I think that homemade costumes, if you want to win a Halloween competition, you need to make your costume. You just do.
I like the idea of the traffic cone, though, being a group thing with all those people. The first picture I showed you.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it'd be a really cute friend thing to do because you could all be in different. Oh, the butter. You guys did such a good job on the butter.
Didn't we? Yeah. Although there's tweaks that I would have made. So my husband and I were debating on how much foam to get. And I wanted to go smaller. And he kept telling me to get all of this foam. And it was too big. I mean, it looks great, but it was too big for him to be in all the time. And there was no hard structure to it. It was just foam. And then people would people would put their arm around him thinking that it was firm and it wasn't. And so I had to use more adhesive to keep it going by the end of the day. But yeah, so that butter costume, I did the words in the grade A on my knees in the garage with a stencil underneath it. I was quite proud of that one.
Yeah,
so very proud.
It's really good.
And then this was, hold on, let's do the house. And then this was the house one, which was the original, the OG one. And the funny part of this one is, again, the way my mind works, as if I'm making it. Now, I just had the idea for the butter. I did the painting, but I'm not putting this crap together. My husband is the one that's going to have to do this. And then this is the house. He was a ghost inside the haunted house. So his face was white.
That's
and there was
cute.
a hand came out. And I mean, this is just one side of it. There were windows on the side that had googly eyes coming out. So yeah, we did pretty good on this.
You're much more crafty than you give yourself credit for, really.
Idea wise, I don't want to make it. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between, okay, I can decorate it, those sorts of things. But my husband is the technical aspect of the whole entire thing. I'm not measuring crap. I'm not doing any of. But yeah, homemade costumes look great. I love it.
I can't wait to see what you guys come up with traffic cone.
I need to start making it though. It's already my parents were having this debate. What date should you start putting up your Halloween costume or Halloween decorations?
Decorations.
Around your house, in front of your house or inside your house. What is the date?
I would usually say October 1st, but already around town, I've seen people have their orange lights up.
Right. Yeah. I said October 1st. My dad last night, I went to go pick some stuff up at my parents' house yesterday, and he thinks that I'm going to be on his side. I love when parents try to so he's like, don't look at your mom when I ask you this question, because he thinks that my mom's going to convince me to be on her side. He's like, when is the earliest? Because my parents live in a neighborhood where they do things with the whole neighborhood, right? Yard things. And before he can even get the question out, I'm like, October 1st. And my mom's like, see? Right. And he's like, that is way early. I'm like, but you want to enjoy it. There's Halloween. Once Halloween's over, then it's just fall. And then Christmas.
We have this street in Petaluma. It's D Street. And it's been featured on Good Morning America as being one of the best places to go for Halloween. It's all these really upscale homes, most of them. And the whole street is everybody really overdoes the Halloween decorations, but they start 2 days before Halloween, taping off their yards and doing these elaborate things. So it's up for maybe 48 hours and then it's down. And
the whole neighborhood is only up for 48 hours.
It's just this street, this very
that's a lot of work
Halloween
for only
street.
2 days.
Yes, it is. But people are trying to. They know that thousands of people are going to be coming through, and so they tape off their lawns. They, usually give candy at the front of the house, or they do some elaborate walkthrough, like haunted house walkthrough thing for people. I don't know. It has always seemed that it's up too quick and gone too quick for me.
Thank you. Well, I know like with a haunted house, so there's a haunted house in our neighborhood and they raise money for, charities or something. And you could follow them on Instagram as they build this gigantic haunted house at their location. Now that, of course, the walkthroughs are only a couple of days because they're building it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But for just regular neighborhoods, so my parents' neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods like yours, Kim, a D Street or whatever.
Yeah.
Last year was our biggest year yet. It was insane. And so people, this year we're like, should we do something about parking? And now we're just like, nah, people are just going to have to walk through and do those sorts of things. But there's a house right on the corner that's by the busy house, and he's already started to put things up. Now it's not done. It's nowhere even close to done. But if you're going to put all that effort in, I want to see it. I want to see a lot of it. How much candy do you buy? I mean, does your neighborhood go through thousands of pieces of candy?
There's another cone picture for you. I don't like these cones.
No, that's cheating. I feel like they used a cone to be a cone, and that's cheating. I mean, that's easy though. That's an easy one.
We don't buy a lot of candy because we're out. We're not home on Halloween. We're gone. Yeah. And this neighborhood isn't really a trick-or-treating neighborhood that I live in. It used to be when I was young, and now it's like maybe, I don't know, it just seems like everyone goes somewhere else. Yeah. And so it's kind of a lull neighborhood, Well,
we'd moved, and I don't know how this neighborhood does it, but I'm going to be giving out candy at my parents' house, which is a mile away, right? Because they're not going to be, they're gone that day. Yeah. So it's like, okay, they're like, are you going to do it? Because if not, then, turn off the lights because we don't want people to come. And you don't want to be the one dark house on a block that goes all out. So we're going to be stepping in and taking care of that like we did last year and the year before, because my parents are older. They're like, we are not staying up giving out a bunch of candy all night long. You can
Have you asked your neighbors like what happens on Halloween in this area?
I haven't yet. There's not a lot of kids that we can see that live in this neighborhood, although they're very close to a school, and they might, but again, I might just get a bowl of candy and put it out because I don't want to be a house that doesn't give away anything and then just be like, take one. And then some smart kids are just going to take the whole entire bowl and that'll be that. So
there's a street near my home. It's called Elrose Avenue, Elrose Drive.
Okay.
And they're like 3 neighbors, and they pick a theme every Halloween.
Oh, that's fun.
Last year it was camping, and they have mannequins, like lots of mannequins, and they set them up in their yards. And they put up a tent last year. It's a big thing.
Oh,
and
nice.
They have music playing, and in some cases you can go into their garages because they have displays set up. It's all very elaborate, and the neighbors get into it.
Oh,
and so on
cool.
both sides of the street, there's all these mannequins doing different things. I think it was high school. The theme was high school one year, and there was like, the mannequins were a part of a band with blood dripping down their face.
That's cool.
It's always a really interesting theme. These are the people that also have bunnies, and they every Easter set up like human-sized rabbits in their yard. It's really creepy.
Yeah. Grady says nothing like the 70s or 80s for trick-or-treating with literal pillowcases. My kids still use pillowcases. They learned really early that they're going to get a hell of a lot more candy than what can fit in like a little bucket. So my kids, and they're so excited for it. Yeah. Although I always tell them, go get me the candy that I want. So no one ever gives out, or rarely does anyone give out hot tamales, which is my favorite candy, but they do give out dots. And so I tell my children, if there's an option to get dots, grab the dots, because you're going to get a million Reese's Pieces, all those Rolos, whatever. Marley, my daughter, doesn't think that they give out enough Rolos because that's her favorite. But I'm like, you'll get plenty of chocolate and caramel. Get me my dots. And if there's hot tamales, you have to get that one because half that candy's mine. Sorry. It's candy season in my house. Eric says, I used to set up big haunted displays, but they were designed to go up and tear down in a day because I did it at my in-laws' place, like tarps, PVC to enclose the whole front lawn. Oh, Jess, you cannot be serious with candy corn. Ugh. Candy corn is trash. Smarties are good. Kit Kats are good. The best candy, Kim? What do you like?
My favorite candy is Junior Mints.
Really?
Yeah, I like them a lot.
I like Junior Mints, but as far as like if I opened up a bag of candy, and there was just junior mints in it, I'd be like, Murphy's like, Nikki, I literally ate hot tamales for my lunch every day in high school, still alive. I would. Like literally, our old coworker at KGO used to bring me in boxes of hot tamales because he knew that I loved them. I love you, Chris. I miss you so much. But yeah, and it was always like when I was trying to like cut back my sugar, he would come in with this, and it wasn't the normal size box. He gave me like the king size. I'm like, oh, and now I have to eat it in one sitting, so it's not there anymore. And that's what I would do.
I don't know if my kids are going to go trick or treating anymore, though. Well, Jacob probably, because he's only in 4th grade. But Julia in high school, I don't know if they do that. Do they do that?
What are you talking about? Why would you not go trick or treating in high school? Free candy.
You're older now, and you know.
Oh hell no! Now, like I don't worry so much. Like go walk. Oh, is there an age limit? I don't think there should be an age limit on trick or treating. I mean, if you have children,
I think high schoolers feel like they're kind of grown ups, and maybe it's time to.
They're
wrap it
not,
up.
and they should. They're at a great age. Like, okay, let me know in the comments. Do you think high schoolers should trick or treat? I say yes. I say go until you don't want to go anymore. Look, look. There's a gap. Okay, I say there's a gap when you can start going to Halloween parties, like 21-year-olds, right, or whatever. You go to college and go to Halloween parties. Okay, you're not trick or treating. Okay, then you get to trick or treat again when you have kids. Like, so I remember going, and my kid was a baby dressed up as like, I don't know, a pumpkin. I'm like, trick or treat, give me free candy. And that candy's not going in my baby. It's going in my mouth. So then you could do it again. Yeah. See, Janet, my daughter and her friends go trick or treating and they're seniors in high school. Good for them.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, Vicky. People hate to see teenagers trick or treating. I don't. You know, that's wholesome fun. I'd rather have them trick or treating and get candy than egg in a house or doing some mischief, right? Like, no way. Yeah, exactly. Murphy, I think trick-or-treating is so much better than other Halloween night activities. I'll give candy to anyone who comes out trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, absolutely high schoolers can go trick-or-treating. Though me and my friends got weird looks when we tried it as freshmen in college. But I would give you candy. I mean, there's no rules to trick-or-treating. There's literally no rules at all.
There's the Easter display up on Elrose.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Easter,
really
not Halloween. If it was Halloween,
Easter.
I'd be like, that's kind of creepy. But for Easter, I guess that's kind of cute.
It's because you think you wait for one of them to move. And sometimes the man that lives there dresses up like a bunny and he will move. And it's really scary. Yeah.
That's really funny.
But it's a photo op. People go up there and have their pictures taken with all the bunnies. And yeah.
Ricky says, we never saw high school kids up to junior high. Older kids do other things. Wow. Chris says, no trick-or-treaters past junior high was our rule.
Oh.
Kim says, freshman, sophomore might trick-or-treat. Beyond that, the kids are egging or TPing houses. And they're the ones who take the entire bowl of candy. Well, maybe because people tell them that they can't trick-or-treat anymore. And they're like, well, then screw you guys. We're taking your candy. Why don't you just give the kids the candy you were going to get out anyway? SF Tesla, some high schoolers look like adults. Must be hard for them. Except in costume, could appear ageless. Yep. Oh, you've got to be kidding, Nancy. No one likes Necco wafers. No.
You might as well have said black licorice.
My mom loves black licorice.
Really?
Neccos are so dry. And they're like the malt balls of sweet tarts or something. You know what I mean? Like if a sweet tart was a malt ball, that's a Necco wafer. Do
you guys go to the Winchester Mystery House for Halloween?
We went last year. They had like that, and it sucked. I think I told you guys about it. They had this whole like walkthrough. It was not scary at all, and you know how I feel about being scared. It was not scary at all, and I gave it a 2 thumbs down especially for the price. Yeah. Yes. No. I like they're actually right now. I think the Winchester Mystery House started this weekend. This like Halloween thing. I remember when I first moved back from Sacramento, they did a haunted house, like a real haunted house, but it wasn't inside the mystery house, the Winchester Mystery House. It was outside. I am telling you, it was movie quality scares. It was awesome. And they only did it once and it never came back. And I'm like, can you guys do that? Probably a lot of work, but it was so good.
Remember my friend Sean, who we had on last year, who does the haunted house at his kid's school? Yeah, we should have him back in.
That is, he was awesome. I love haunted houses. I love being scared. You guys know this, but it has to be scary. Do not promise me scares, Winchester Mystery House. And then it's like, the most boring walkthrough. I could have taken the tour any other time of the year. I went because I wanted to be scared.
Have you seen those Halloween decorations from Costco that are like skeletons that are 18, 20 feet tall?
Oh, yes. We have tons of them around our neighborhood. They're expensive, though, to buy those.
And then where do you keep it all year?
Well, you did. Yeah, I'm sure it comes apart. So
massive.
It's massive. Yeah, you probably have to have a shed or something to put it in. Now, Eric, I get it. They're not going to decorate the historical location. Then don't promise me something. Okay. Don't promise me. Do it outside again. And they did. They did it outside that one year. And it was so well done. Janet says you need to do the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. I think you'd love it. I would love to. I also want to do the Not Scary Farm and Not Scary Farm. I've heard that's really good.
Or the whole Disney thing. They have a Disney Halloween thing.
Yeah. I feel like that's not going to be as scary. Magic Mountain, I would go almost every year for my birthday, and that would be fun. And they would have all the haunted houses. Great America sucks ass. They got rid of theirs, and now it's all family friendly BS, as if there's not enough things for little kids. Sorry. I'm so bitter about it because that was my close one that I could go to, and they don't do it anymore. And Susan wants to know, missing the info regarding your mystery box. Can you please repeat it, or is the info somewhere? Okay, well, let's do that right now because we're coming up on the end of our show, so we might as well do all of that right now. So the mystery box is to mark our 1-year anniversary of the show. October 17th is the 1-year anniversary of the Nikki Medoro Show. And so as a fundraiser to keep us going, because this is a 100% crowdfunded show, we are having an online raffle. Okay. So tickets for the online raffle are $20 each. We're doing it through PayPal. If you go to PayPal and you hit send, like send money, the email address you put in is the show email address, the Nikki Medoro Show @gmail.com. Make sure you see the logo there. Yes, that is the one that you send it to. And then if you live within 50 miles of me in San Jose, I'll also personally deliver it to you. So the winner will also get a personal delivery by yours truly. Now, the box is filled with my favorite things. I'm going to be giving hints. I'm going to be kind of wrapping it and putting cute little notes in it. Let's see. Some of the hints that I will give. If you want to feel like a winner, you will love what I put inside that box. There's things that I've mentioned on the show that are going to be part of the show or part of the box. Yeah, I mean, it's hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. I'm going to make it worth your while for a $20 ticket, of course. But it's just something fun. It's a fun way of raising money for the show, and the show money and not fundraiser money goes to myself and Kim, of course. Mm-hmm. And so we appreciate it. So buy tickets. There's only a few weeks left. So just go to paypal.com, the Nikki Medoro Show @gmail.com. Tickets are $20 a piece. You can buy as many as you can afford. And I can't wait to do the drawing and to see who wins. I'm really excited. I know Ricky Bear, you think you're going to win. I think it's your birthday, right, Ricky? So, maybe you'll have some birthday luck. Well, we'll do it live on the show on October 17th, and it's going to be a good time. So,
have the buttons come yet?
No, the buttons have not come yet.
Okay.
When they come, I will be making a big announcement. I really hope they look good. They sent me, I don't know. This is my first time buying buttons, designing buttons. I don't know. It's the first iteration, so it might be a keeper, and I might make better buttons later, but we'll see. So those are also the first button for Medorables is going to also be in this box. That's a guarantee. I will not sell any of those buttons until the winner of the raffle box is chosen. So they have the very first one given out. But again, go to thenikkimedoroshow.com. There's other ways to support the show. Patreon, our Patreon link is on there. Our merch shop is up there as well. So you can, buy some merchandise. We have sweatshirts. That also, there might be something of our merch shop in that box as well. You never know. It is a mystery box, and that's why they call it that. All right, tomorrow we'll get into Victoria's Secret Karen. It doesn't matter that we don't know the whole story about people that are involved in viral videos. If you share the video, are you part of the problem? Or are these videos what's needed to kind of call out some of the nonsense that people get into? All right, click the thumbs up button and stay on YouTube. The Mark Thompson Show is next. And then, of course, the After Party Live. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.